up, we have gate 28, which is preponderance of the great and the gate of the great game player. It is part of individual knowing circuitry hooking up with root gate 38.
So notice we're doing what we did before when we did the root center. So we're going down one side, right? And we're just getting the ones that face the root, the opposite of the root center. So all of this stuff is collecting adrenalized root pressure, adrenalized joy. Here is adrenalized fight. And 28 is not the fighter at all. It's not the fighter. It's just doing the same thing. If 18 is sitting there looking around as to what's been spoiled, 28 is literally looking around moment to moment, becoming aware of what is worth living for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal. We have a genetic construct in humanity that individually wishes to empower everyone else with what is worth living for. You know, what's the purpose of all of this? And it actually zeroes in moment to moment as to what that purpose is. And it's got a great fear, of course. Fear. The 18's fear, by the way, is the fear of too much authority over it. And the 28 is the fear of purposelessness. And its most extreme, the fear of death or the fear of life coming to an end at some point without ever having figured out your purpose. I always wanted to be an artist and I never did anything or something, just purposelessness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we just had the 28 come through with the solar transits a couple weeks ago. And I have the 38, but not the 28. And I got such a rush of I'm sick of being such a lump. And I started working out again and eating healthier. And I'm on this whole adventure now of that. But I was like, oh, wow, this is the 28 of life has to be worth living. What's worth living for? Okay, take better care of yourself and do something worthwhile. And I go ahead.
Well, just when speaking of the transits, so people, you can notice these when they come into your body graph, is what Moni's pointing out. Gate 3, when we had 3 and 50 a week or two ago, I noticed the gate 3 in my body graph pretty much right away. That's when I started planting everything. I wasn't sure where I would do this and where I would plant that and and I was only putzing around, and then suddenly I'm in it. Gate 28 will do the same thing. There's a 38 in your body graph. There's a fight worth fighting. There's a struggle worth having. Gate 28 is a big part of this struggle, and that struggle is death to the other. So if you have the whole channel, there's a certain profound deafness and even a willingness to obscure things while you're looking for your purpose, because, well, it is the great game player. This thing will play games right up until its 6th line, up at where it could just roll off a cliff to find out what was worth living for. So facing death is something gate 28 contemplates. It's not just 51 and 25, for instance, or whichever other gate you might put in there. This gate contemplates death. And there's one other really cool feature about this gate. It's the fact that it takes integration, which is above it, 57 up to the throat and 10 and 34, and it makes it become less selfish. If 28 walks into a room or enters the clique of people that are a couple peeps sitting around, whatever integration is there, 28 makes it start to aid and abet the pursuit of purpose. So that's a big deal, because think about it, integration could care less about your purpose or any other purpose. It's just survival right now. Integration is just that, survival now. And 28 says, no, there's this too. So it actually pulls, think of how much that would pull people every time 28 or 28 and 38 as a channel are defined in that room. That room will always be looking for purpose, because integration is already busy. So just think of the definition of this. You put this in a room, as soon as there's 4 or 5 people, this will be there, right? Almost all the time. And so as much as that 4 or 5 people want to do their own integrative thing, they can't. Something will show up to make the group find a purpose, or aid and abet, empower someone there to find their purpose to something. And it shows up. You never get a group of 4 or 5 people together where they're not suddenly try to find something to do. Don't you? It's almost like you can't help it. It's like, I don't want to find something to do. Well, we can't just sit here. Why not?
Yeah,
But
I like,
then came the cell phone, and then everyone can sit there. Actually, now that I think of it, so
but before that, I like
yeah,
how you said that the 28 as that pursuit of purpose. I really like
the
that
purpose.
as a keynote.
That's its whole gig, man. Yep.
Yeah, I think of the 2838 as the like I have a dream, like the
Yes.
very like Martin Luther King, like I have a dream, it's gonna be super cool, and like let's pursue that, let's fight for something worthwhile, let's fight for a purpose worthwhile is like the 2838, and the 28 is awareness of that pursuit of what is worthwhile.
Moni, I do this thing. I have a dream, you just said. Now, for everyone who's watching this, what we're doing over and over again is we're coming to a genetic expression that is within us. It's unique, it's individually there. It's there all on its own, and it's there with all the rest of the gates. And then we come up with keynotes for it. And these keynotes are phrases or words that describe it in the language we use. Japanese keynotes would sound a little different than ours, but they all come to the same thing. They will come to, it's like a love
Same
language. And
foundation.
same foundation. It's like love. You know what I mean? You don't have to speak the same language to have a love language with somebody, right? You
Hmm.
just don't. Same thing here. Human design will translate just like mathematics. And so I think I forgot the point I was trying. What was the point I was trying to make? How would you
The
know?
pursuit of purpose and the I
Thank
have
you.
a dream.
Thank you. You're right. So what I find is that one really turned me on, the pursuit of purpose, and then we have a dream, because I will take that we have a dream, and I started applying it in my mind as we were talking to a bunch of other gates that might do something like that, and I couldn't come up with one quickly. Meaning it's a really good keynote when it doesn't repeat itself too much. That's a good keynote or a good phrase for the gate. I have a dream. I thought of 41 right away, with desire. Desire schmire, maybe it'll change. But you got a dream and you're not getting off that thing, and you don't have to be a second line to be called into that, right?
Hmm.
That's 2838. Absolutely. Pick another one, 5125. You know what I mean? That's like, well, I'm going to leap into this thing. Maybe it's for great purpose. I am certainly taking quite a risk, but it's different. It's not
Yeah.
the same thing. It's not quite, I have a dream, but maybe it's a little, I have a dream right now, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
this one
Hmm.
is the enduring. This could be, and it has the potential to endure and bring all of that integration circuitry above it along with it. Kicking and screaming sometimes, I'm sure. So, right? I don't
Hmm.
want.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like all of that. And then another thing I wanted to make sure we touch on with gate 28 is it's also called the gate of struggle. So I wanted to elaborate on that a little bit because that could be one of the ones that you see and you're like, I have 28 as the gate of struggle. Like, come on, like there could be some feelings about that.
Yeah, and so the struggle is, I would almost call the struggle more in 38, but either way, when you have the whole channel, there's struggle. That's the thing. This is called the channel of struggle. It's in fact, it's the channel that gets the keynote of struggle. Now that I think of it,
Okay, cool. Good, good.
that's what it is. That's why they both have it. I was wondering if I would remember that, but the struggle that shows up in all of this obviously is they're struggling to find their moment to moment purposefulness. And that is a big struggle. If I do this, I can't do that. And if I don't do that, this can't do this. Oh shoot, where did I put my keys? Oh darn, I have to, you know what I mean? Oh no, I don't want to, that's too much. I'm not doing it. And it's like, the partner sitting there is like, honey, come on, we're just going to pick up some pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Those
don't
are
need
some
the
little
keys. We'll take my
persnickety.
car. Yes. And they're
Uh-huh.
just struggling. So, well, I got this thing. And the, the struggle would be the second looker that always looks back to make sure they got the things they needed on their way to do
That's
something.
me.
Yeah.
I have the 38. That's totally me.
Constantly looking to say, is that the thing? Is that the thing that I
I need
need?
this. I always need a few extra minutes to leave the house. I'm like, you go to the car. I'll be there in like 5, 10 minutes. Let me grab a couple
Right.
last things. I might need something.
Right. Everything becomes a struggle. And the not self of this gate and this whole channel would be that struggle becomes the purpose without any aim, without any awareness, and without any true purpose that feels fulfilling. So you struggle as a matter of, look at me, I'm struggling, rather than internally as an internal, because it's individual. So it's only it's only now, and it's only empowering me first, so I can empower others with it. And so Gate 28 would love to empower you with what its struggle has uncovered. I love a good struggle, right? I mean, Einstein struggled, all the musicians struggle, right?
Well,
And
and
then they, Yeah, then they give us good music, you know.
Yeah, that's part of the like gate of the great game player I really like because no one wants to play a boring game. Like you don't want it to be too hard. Like there's a sweet spot between like way too easy and way too difficult. Nobody wants to play a way too easy game as much as no one wants to play something that's way too difficult. It's that middle level where you can play with the game, but there's always going to be a new challenge, a new little bit of struggle, a new little like rubbing up against something, which makes it worthwhile.
Yes, yes. The worthwhileness, the endless pursuit of that which is worthwhile to the individual, so it's unique. So by the way, you have this gate or this channel, your struggle is not your partner's struggle or the other person's struggle. And you can't tell them it's supposed to be. I mean, we get into a lot of that in our world these days. It's like, I think this, and if you don't think that, then, you know, I struggled to come to this, and if you're not here, you're bad.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
no can do, right? Just no can do. That's disempowering, and that would be the not self of that, and that will lead to just endless alienation, frankly.
Hmm. Yeah, and everyone's got their own struggle. Like when you're struggling and someone appears not, like they have their own struggle going on, or they just went through a struggle, or theirs is coming up. Like everyone's got some crazy stuff going on. So
Well, think of what the mind does to us. The mind gives us an endless toy box of concepts.
yeah.
And so, of course, this spleen is going to have so many things to struggle about because it's got lots of rich material coming in.
Hmm.
You know, never mind that also the solar plex will give it plenty of emotional stuff, but just the mind alone, you know, that will go straight to all the things one could struggle for. The trick is to not allow mind to create the struggle. The struggle is that which fits your strategy and authority, and it feels good to you, and it feels like it's coming from within, and it sort of lights you up, and like you don't mind. You don't mind. It's like that Rubik's Cube. I know, but I'm going to get it. I don't mind. You know, it's like you've been at it for 2 hours, right? And I don't mind.
It's a juicy struggle.
Yep, the juicy struggle. Yes, that's the true self of 28. The juicy struggle that is not taken too personally if others don't feel empowered by yours or don't partake in it or whatever. In fact, half the time they're not even going to share what their struggle is anyways. So.